first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you very much for joining us. We are live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, as we do every weekday starting around 1 p.m. and going throughout the afternoon. And we cover a wide range of topics here on this show. So thanks for being a part of it. Don't forget to download that Fox 12 Oregon app. Today, well, as you were just seeing there, we are talking about tiki bars, and in particular, a film that is all about the start of them and the person who really came up with the concept, and maybe some of the rumors and things that go along with that. So we're going to be discussing this film, The Donn of Tiki, here on the show today. Joining us right now, we have the directors of the film. We've got Max Well and Alex Lamb joining us right now. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. And I should say everybody's going to have a chance to go see this film in person, too, in Vancouver, Washington, and we'll get into that side. But thanks for being here. This is such an interesting story and how you went about creating this film too, with a mix of animation in there. I think to start off, would you guys mind just telling us how you came about this idea and what made you want to make this film to begin with?
Sure. Well, we started out really to make a short piece. We were going to cover a couple of the local tiki bars here in Los Angeles where we live. And as we started doing some research and talking to folks, we kept hearing something along the lines of, none of this would have happened without Don Beach. And so we started digging into his story. And it was one of those things where the more you learn, the deeper you have to go. It was a rabbit hole. And so we just started learning more and more about Don Beach's life. And we thought, wow, there's so much material here. This isn't a short, it should be a feature. And so it just grew from that point.
And so what were some of those things that you found out? Because, I mean, I think for, a lot of people, and it sounds like, as you started going down this rabbit hole, you learned about it as well. But, the origins of tiki bars and Don Beach and who this person was. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Don was a very, very adventurous person. The way that Max likes to put it is he lived, multiple lifetimes worth of adventure in just one life. He traveled the world twice, to when he was in his 20s, early 20s. And, people in the 1920s weren't able to do that. So he was able to see a lot of things, bring back a lot of things. And then he spent time rum running in Hollywood with the mob and opened a speakeasy. And when liquor became available again, he started making these drinks out of rum, which was something that the U.S. population wasn't used to drinking. So it was he was able to tell these stories because he had been to these places, and he was able to make these drinks because he learned how to make them on his travels. And it was kind of a very autobiographical thing that came about because of his specific life.
Wow. So, yeah, I mean, bringing rum in at that point, too, and I mean, there's so many different adventures that you just mentioned right there that you could probably do a film on each section of that. But, but
Yes.
Like bringing that all together too. I mean, as you started looking into this, how did you go about, writing a film about this and creating a film, a documentary about this? Because does he have relatives that are still alive, or were there people you could talk to?
Yeah, we were fortunate to connect early on with Don's widow, his third wife, Phoebe Beach, who's still alive. She lives in New Zealand. She agreed to help us put the film together. She shared a lot of material. So that was some of Don's personal effects, letters and journals and blueprints for projects that he worked on, photographs, all sorts of stuff. So once we sort of had her blessing to tell the story, we started to lay everything out. So it was like, okay, this is his early life, his midlife, and his later years. And as we plotted all that stuff out, we pulled together the archival information, and then we decided to also incorporate animation in the film to tell some of those stories that we weren't able to cover with archival photos and footage. And the animation ended up becoming a big part of the film.
Yeah, and I think oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no. I was just agreeing with Max.
And I was going to say,
a big part of the film.
Yeah, the animation side, because that's one of the really fascinating things with this, of bringing that part into it. And there's a couple of different styles and versions of this. So when you go about, bringing that in, I mean, as you mentioned, to cover up some of that stuff, what was the process like for getting that animation and telling those stories?
The process was very much, we knew that we wanted animation early on. We knew that we wanted good animation, and we wanted it to feel authentic. So we decided that we wanted to go with animation styles that would evoke animation of certain time periods. So when Don's talking about a story in the 1930s, it's rubber hose, black and white animation. It looks kind of like Steamboat Willie. And then when he's talking about a story of something that happened in the 40s, it's more Looney Tunes, or in the 60s, it's kind of a Hanna-Barbera look. And that really helped us. It gave us a shortcut of explaining to the audience where we are in Americana and in the timeline of the 20th century, without having to be like, okay, now we're in the 60s. People just know when they see it what they're looking at it on a deeper level, I think.
Yeah, just intuitively probably picking up on, okay, I know what era this is just based on the animation.
Exactly. That was the goal.
Was there a lot of research in going to tiki bars for this?
There was. It was a really hard job. We had to travel around and talk to all these bartenders and have cocktails, and no, it was really fun. We got to travel a bit for the film. We saw some amazing tiki bars, some of the best tiki bars in the world. So that was a perk of the job, certainly.
What would you say, it is about this tiki bar, type, these locations? What is it about tiki bars that really resonates so well with people, that this is still something going on? That, I mean, you have people coming up with new ones all the time and just different ways to do it, but I mean, there's something about it. What is that?
It's escapism in its truest form. It's like you walk into the door, you turn a corner, there's no windows, there's no clocks. It's kind of, like you don't know where you are, but you've been transported into another place, and it doesn't matter where that bar is. It takes you somewhere else. And I think that is what appealed to people in the 1930s. And I believe that's what appeals to people today in 2025.
Yeah, right. I totally agree. That definitely adds into it. I mean, there's just something about it. Yeah, you feel like, I mean, especially here being in the Northwest, I got to say, right now it's nice weather, but during the winter, it's kind of nice to go into something like that and just feel like you're not in the cold and in the storms, and you're somewhere tropical. For people of this film, for people who are watching this film, who are going to get a chance to go see it, what is one of the big things that you would want people to take away from this film?
One of the things that we learned about Don Beach when we were making this movie, we learned about his attention to detail and his dedication to authenticity and kind of genuine representations of some of the cultures that he was pulling from. Tiki is one of these things where people think of it as being Hawaiian or Caribbean or something like that. And it's this amalgamation of a lot of different things. It's a Hollywood creation is what it is. But Don's, striving to constantly deliver the best experience he could possibly give to all of his guests, that was something that we found kind of inspiring, so I think what I've learned is, like, when you set out to do a project, just go all the way. That's what Don would have done.
Go all the way, follow it through. I mean,
Yeah.
just what an incredible guy, with all these different things part of this. And this is something, for this film that people are going to get to check out. And can you tell us, about getting to go on tour around with this film as well? What's the reaction been like from audiences?
Reaction's been great. I mean, we're very lucky to have a strong following within the Tiki community. We've kind of planned this tour around Tiki bars that we can partner with, so that it seems like every city we go to, especially the further we get from the coast, and like when we get into the Midwest and middle of the country, the people who are into it are really into it, and they're very welcoming and very excited to see the film. And I think it means a lot to them. I think that the whole sort of movement is very important to them, and gives them something that they don't necessarily have where they live. So we're very excited to be taking it around the country.
And I would imagine, now, as going back to what you talked about, with that sense of escape, for a lot of people, that probably is something that's very relevant right now, no matter who you are, just to be able to go into a tiki bar like that and escape, but also now getting to learn about the history of it and learning about this life of the Donn of Tiki. Pretty incredible. So people are going to get to see it here in the Portland area in Vancouver, Washington, coming up on the 18th, and that's going to be at the Kiggins Theatre, where people can go check it out. And you two are going to be there, and I believe you're going to a tiki bar after that as well.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I won't be at that screening. Alex will be there with his wife. And we're also working with Coral Club, the Coral Club Tiki Bar, which is right around the corner from Kiggins Theatre. That's on the 18th. And then the following day, we're actually going to move down to Eugene, or actually Portland, Oregon. Sorry, Springfield, Oregon. Excuse me.
It's a lot of travel.
Yeah, for another screening. So, you kind of get two chances to see it if you're in the area.
Nice. A couple chances to go see it and go get some tiki. I got to ask, do you have, this is just kind of my final question for both of you, do you have a go-to tiki drink that you always get?
Yeah, let's see. Well, after doing the movie and learning about Don Beach's masterpiece, which is the zombie, if you can find a classic zombie at a tiki bar, that's my go-to.
Yeah, the zombie, 1934 zombie is a very good drink. I also really love the Missionary's Downfall, which is a very sort of refreshing, minty drink that Don created that just has a very special elegance to it. And it's one of my favorite drinks if a bar has it. Not every bar has it, but when they do, it's a treat. I highly recommend getting one.
Now I really want to go to a tiki bar, but I have a lot of work left today. I've got several more hours that, don't worry, everybody will not be having a tiki drink right now, but I want one. So Max, Alex, thank you, both for joining us here too to talk about this. I mean, what a really cool and interesting story to bring out there for everybody, and just the way that you've gone about it, fascinating. And again, people can go check it out here, either in Vancouver or Springfield. So a couple of locations there, and there's more there online depending on where you're watching and where you're at to go check it out. Well, thank you both for being here on Fox 12 Now. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Greg. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And for everybody watching, again, this is Fox 12 Now. We're live streaming here. So thanks for being here. We cover a wide range of topics on this show. An example, later on today, we're going to be talking about emergency alert management. But coming up next, I'm going to be talking to Trevor Keith from Face to Face, from the band Face to Face. So again, all kinds of different things here for this show. But thanks for being here. And I do appreciate it. We're going to take a break. I'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.